Alrighty. Well, good morning, everybody. Look who's here with me. It's 5:30 in the morning. I gotta get up and give Rocky his breakfast. This will be second breakfast because he had first breakfast like at 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, he had second breakfast at 3:33 in the morning because that's the time it said on the phone when he woke me up. And I looked at the phone; it was 3:33. So that's kind of ominous. That's like 6:66, sorta. Okay, it is December the 1st. It's Monday, December the 1st, Rocky. We're into December already. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Hey, you're a good boy. I appreciate you. I do. Anyway, Rocky gives the best head boops. But I do have to get up and I gotta give Rocky his breakfast and his pain medication. Rocky says, yes, I heard the word breakfast there. I like that. But anyway, yeah, you know, in Canada right now, well, that isn't even right now. It's been going on for a long time. But, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do we have here now? Oh, okay. Hold on, Rocky. Hold on, my pet. Okay. There's something in his tail. Of course, once you start trying to. Oh, oh, okay. Well, I don't know where it is now. I've lost it. But there was something in his tail. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There we go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, now you just wait. I know. Hold on here. Okay, let's get out of the bed. Hey, let me have a look and see what this is first. I don't know what it is. Nope, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, whatever it is, I don't know. Anyway, we'll throw it away. It might have been a tick, or it might be a piece of dirt, or who knows. Anyway, we gotta get out of the bed, Rocky. It's warm in the bed, and I like it in the bed, but we gotta get out of the bed. We do. Yeah, anyway, for anybody who's followed what's happening up here in Canada, lately they're not even trying to hide the evil anymore. At one time they hid the evil from the majority of the people. They never really hid it from me. For some reason, they didn't care if I knew how evil our government is. But hey, you, there's Rocky. Yeah, there he is. Okay, they didn't care if I knew how evil they are, but um, still, let's see, what can we do here? They, yeah. Alright, now, let me see. Hey, you, hold on here now. We're gonna put this here, maybe. There we go. Yeah, hey. Okay, let me get your pain medicine out here. Anyway, yeah. So, in my case, I've been aware of it for a long time, but, this propane tank is nearly empty. So I know I'm going to have to change it soon. I've got a new tank there waiting to go on. It's always kind of an ordeal when I have to change it, though. Here's his pain meds. But, so I've been aware of it for longer than most, that we're living in a country run by really evil people. But, I'm just drawing the pain meds into the syringe here. I don't actually inject him with it or anything. It's just, I draw it into the syringe, and then it's got to go into his food, is what happens with it. But, anyway, yeah. So, I've been aware for a long time of how evil it is, really, how evil the government is, and so on. And really, I think all governments everywhere have that to them, because when you look at it, we're living under Lucifer's system, eh? And that's true regardless of where you are. Canada or any other place. Canada kind of played the part of the good guy for a long time, but that's not really happening anymore. There we go. Give him a little gravy with that. Hey, a little gravy with your food, Rocky. But anyway, now they're passing a bill now to ban people like me from the internet who criticize the government or who aren't woke, who aren't into the whole woke thing. They want to ban us from the internet, and so they're passing a bill to do that, and they're passing a bill to do that anyway, and also to put us in jail. You know, if we're openly critical of the government, they want to put us in jail. There's my boy right there. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Anyway, that's the other thing. They want to put us in jail. And so, once Rocky's no longer around, I probably won't have another cat. Just even though I really want to have another one, because if I get sent to jail, that's going to really be an issue. You know, for any if I have an animal dependent upon me, that's going to be an issue. And I am anticipating being sent to jail because I don't intend to stop. If the government orders me not to criticize it, I intend to double down on my criticism. If the government orders me off the internet, and they ban the Bible or they ban parts of the Bible, I'm going to write the verses down on a placard that the government has banned, and I'm going to walk around town with the placard on a stick with the verses that the government has banned, with those specific verses written on that placard so that people can see them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the people what the government says they're not allowed to see, the scriptures the government says they're not allowed to see. So they're going to have no choice but to lock me up, because basically, if people think I'm poking the bear now, they have no idea of the fact that I'm getting a bigger, sharper stick ready. So, from my point of view, the government of this country is the enemy. The government of Canada is just a satanic government. And sadly, they all are worldwide. But the government of Canada, I'll tell you, they're going for Employee of the Month. They really are. Like, they want to be Satan's Employee of the Month, and they're working hard at it. I'll tell you. They want to get their picture in Satan's office, right there behind his desk with the frame, Employee of the Month. Mark Carney wants that title, and he's going to get it. And no matter how many Canadian people he has to destroy in the process. But it isn't just Mark Carney, because you see, the government wouldn't be as evil as it is just because of one man. And the government was evil before Mark Carney took office. It's been evil for a long time. The truth is, the government of Canada has been evil for decades. But really, it's always been evil because, like I say, we're living under Satan's system, eh? But I mean, it's been really evil for decades, but it's hidden. The average person wasn't aware of it until fairly recently. Now they don't care because they've progressed with their plan far enough, just a step at a time, leading people along by the nose just a little bit, just pulling them ahead a few inches, a few more inches, and so on. Now we're close enough to the slaughterhouse that they don't care. They've got the bull right at the door to the slaughterhouse, and they don't care if the bull knows what's going to happen next. And that's where we're at anyway in this country. So yeah, I'm going to keep poking the bear. I'm going to keep I'm gonna force them to lock me up or kill me. And if they do lock me up, if they ever let me out, I'm gonna go right back at it. And they're gonna lock me up again, and that's gonna be how it'll be. I'll serve life on the installment plan if I have to. But I'm gonna get the word out. And if they take my life for what I'm doing, which they may very well do, well then I'll go to heaven and I'll be with God. I'll be with Jesus. So, and I'll live under a system that isn't run by Satan. So, live under a fair and just system and not one that's run by Satan. But the thing is, I can't really be responsible for animals and whatnot when I'm doing that. So, and I mean, we are going to ramp things up. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, the day I lose Rocky is going to be a terrible day. You know, it's going to be horrible. And after that, though, I don't believe that there's going to be any more animals around here. Because at that point, I'm going to have to go to work, you know, in a big way. And I intend to do that. I intend to be a thorn in these people's sides. If the people at the veterinary clinic think I'm a thorn in their side, they haven't seen anything yet. I mean, they should be glad they're not the government, because, you know, I've had a real problem with the government for a long time, and so I've seen it. I'm watching it progress in this country, and you know, they're not fooling around with just anybody. I've had death threats from the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police. I've actually had death threats from those people in the past and everything else, and I never did back down. So, I mean, I'm not the guy that's going to back down in this situation either. And, you know, I've been tortured. I've actually been physically tortured and everything else, so I've had things done to me. Again, by the police and by correctional officers and so on in this country. So, again, I'm not somebody to fool around with anyway. You know, I mean, people think I'm weak, and they're wrong to think that, because I'm the one who will stand up. And there aren't very many Canadians who will, sadly, because there's a conditioning in this country to believe that to stand against authority is a moral failing. If authority is acting properly, that may well be true. But when authority is rogue, as it is at this point, that's not true. And the truth is, the government of Canada has always been rogue, just like all the rest of them. But it's done a good job covering it up until recently. Like I say, they're not trying to hide it anymore. If they were trying to hide it, they would be hiding it, just like they've done in the past. But they're not trying to hide it anymore. They've managed to pull and nudge the bull to the door of the slaughterhouse, and they don't need to hide their intentions anymore. They know that we know. Even the people in Canada who choose to stick their head in the sand and pretend they don't know, on some level they know. Right now, if you believe in God in this country, you're considered mentally ill. That's actually what's being pushed. You believe in the sky genie. That's, they refer to God as the sky genie. People in this country do. And you're considered mentally ill if you believe in God. So you can imagine, that's the atmosphere we live under here. And now the government is saying the Bible is hate literature. See, Satan is threatened by anything to do with God, because Satan can't really win. He fights God, but he can't really win. He's fighting God after all. So in my case, some would argue, well, you can't fight the government and win. But the thing is, Just the mere act of fighting the government, regardless of the outcome, is a win. It's a spiritual win. And the spiritual wins are more important than the physical wins anyway. Because it's our spirit that we take with us when we leave this world, and every one of us is going to leave this world. There's none of us going to be here forever. There are people who have a delusion. Oh, science is going to come up with ways, and we're going to live for 984 years, and, all that. Well, even if they did, all that would mean is that in 984 years, you're going to leave this world. Instead of leaving this world in 84 years, you're going to leave it in 984 years. That's all. You're still going to leave it. And believe it or not, even that amount of time will go by fairly quickly. Not as quickly as our current lifespan, but quickly enough. Plus, if those innovations do come about, they're not going to be for the poor people. They're going to be for the elites so that they can live forever. They're not working on this shit for the poor people. They want the poor people to continue to have short lives, eh? In fact, they want to get rid of most of us, just maybe keep a remnant of us around to clean the toilets and mow the grass. But other than that, they don't want us around, really. Anyway, that's it. That's my intention. I do not intend to let up. If they cut me off one way, I'll come at it another way. And I'll just continue doing that until I either die or they kill me. And like I say, I have had death threats from the OPP in the past. And, if the OPP is making death threats against you, the Ontario Provincial Police, you probably should take them seriously because they have killed people. It is something that they have done in the past too, and they'll still do it. But like I say, I'm not too concerned about that. I'm more concerned about what God says than I am about what any man says. And right now, we have, well, just some awful, awful people ruling over us. It's never been good, but it's had an all-time high when it comes to badness at this point. So when they're actively talking about banning the Bible, then that they are thoroughly and totally overtaken with evil. I mean, to actually want to ban the Word of God, you've got to be one evil outfit, But like I say, evil is threatened by that. Good is threatened. Bad is threatened by good. Evil is threatened by good, and so on. Because in the end, good does prevail. Evil has its day, don't get me wrong, evil does have its day, and it's having its day now. But in the end, evil does not prevail. Good always prevails, no matter what damage evil does. And I mean, evil can work for hundreds of years to accomplish some goal, and God, just in a blink of an eye, can eliminate everything that evil gained in that time, can just completely wipe it out and restore good where evil has done damage. So, it's really God. It's right to be on God's side, and it's the smart thing to be on God's side. Anybody who chooses to be on the side of evil has already lost. No matter what rewards they receive from the system, from this earthly system, no matter if this earthly system does then leave them alone for the most part and not be trying to lock them up or kill them or hurt them in any way, other than the way they're trying to hurt everybody, of course. You know, you can trade your soul for an easy life, or for a relatively easy life. You'll never have an easy life under an evil system. But, hey, would you like me to move these out of your way, sweetie? Here, let me move these out of your way. Yeah, there you go. Hey, you're beautiful. But you can have a even under an evil system, you can have at least outwardly a a you can at least outwardly have a good life, but you're still under a system that doesn't care about you and that would hurt you in a heartbeat if it serves its purposes to do so. But when you ally yourself with God, and you work towards God's causes, and like, for example, getting the scriptures out there even when the government is banning them, and so on, like that, and even at a certain risk to yourself in doing so, a certain risk to yourself in the here and now in doing so, um, you're on the winning team. You really are. You're on the winning team. There he goes. So yeah. Anyway, I intend to be on the winning team. And so I intend to be defiant of all these things that they're trying to put out there now. I intend to be defiant of them. And I don't care that society labels those who are defiant of the system mentally ill and criminal and all the rest of it. I don't care what society says about me. I never have cared about what society says about me. And society has some pretty negative opinions where I'm concerned, and that's fine. As I said in a previous video yesterday, I'm an asshole. I don't care. And really, this is a job for an asshole. This is when I said in the previous video about how even assholes have our place. Well, as this system becomes more and more evil, those of us who are assholes, this is our time to shine. Because those of us that society thinks of as assholes, we're the ones that are going to be out there, um, you know, going against the program. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, it's the assholes of society who recognize the truth of what's going on. We recognize that the world is being overtaken by these evil people, by these demonized people. I look at our current Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and I listen to him talk and everything, and I can tell that that man is demonically oppressed. That man, he's got some serious issues. I'll tell you, you don't have to really look at him. You just watch him. You watch him. You just get some footage of that guy, of Mark Carney, and see how he talks, and just listen to how he talks, and look at his face. Look at his eyes, and you'll see it. If you have any spiritual intuition at all, you will see what I'm talking about. There's something off about that man. There really is. There's something way off about that man. And it isn't just that he's a little weird or something like that. That's not it. It's something way beyond that. Look, I'm a little weird. I admit that. I'm a weird guy. The fact that I will go as far as I'll go, in working against this system, and the fact that I'm willing to make the sacrifices I'm willing to make to do it, proves that, at least by Canadian standards, I'm a weird guy. But I'm not talking about just being weird. I'm talking about being demonic, actually being evil, having the evil right in you, you know? Um, that's Mark Carney. He's not just kind of weird or a little bit troublesome, or, well, maybe we should just kind of watch him because who knows what he's up to. No, it's beyond that. This guy has nothing but bad intentions. for humanity. And really, he hates humanity. And you can see it and you can hear it. If you listen to him and look at him, you can see it and you can hear it. If you have any spiritual discernment at all, you can. And so that's what we're up against. We're up against political leaders who are thoroughly and completely overtaken with evil. That's what we're up against. These are interesting times. You know, there's an old Chinese curse, and, you know, somebody doesn't like you. Chinese person doesn't like you. They may say, they might say to you, may you live in interesting times. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a well wish. May you live in interesting times. That sounds like they're wishing you well. So it's kind of an ingenious way of cursing somebody. But if you stop and think about it, historically interesting times are always times that are unsettled. They're always times of war. They're always times of plague and drought and hardship. The times in history that are the most interesting are not the peaceful, prosperous times. You know, they're really not. They're the rough times. They're the times when everybody is struggling just to get along, just to get by. Those are the times in history that are the most interesting. And we're living them right now. You know, so I don't know if a Chinaman has put a curse on me or not, but I'm in those times anyway, regardless. Anyway, that's it, guys. There's my Rocky. Can you see Rocky there? Where is he? Darn it all. There he is. Hi, Rocky. Are you there? Oh, I can't really see whatever you're seeing, so I don't know. But there he is, if you can see him. Hey, you're a good boy. Alright, guys. We'll see you later.